This is a story called The Little Monsters, Chapter 52. Someone was going around school stealing from everyone. The kids are at school and they all have money and their joke stuff in their school bags. They're all planning to buy something from the tuck shop at playtime. After school they were all planning on buying a new toy they'd all been saving up for. Come playtime, Kika went to the school tuck shop to buy some crisps, but when she went to get her money out of her bag to pay for them, it was gone. She got really upset, so Grumpy, who was behind her, went to get his money out to pay for Kika's crisps and his sweets, but as he did so it wasn't there and he got upset. Both him and Kika emptied their bags and their pockets, but their money wasn't there. Then when Stampy went in his bag to get his money out, his was gone too. At first the tuck shop staff thought that the kids were joking, but when they saw how upset they were, they realised that they were being serious. One of them took them to Mrs. Tinker to explain what had happened. When she saw how upset the kids were, she knew that they were telling the truth. Then one of the teachers went in her bag to get her purse out to pay for her lunch, but it was gone. Some of the others checked their bags and pockets, but their money was gone too. No one knew who was doing it or why, but Mrs. Tinker had to phone some of the parents to explain what had happened. The next day, when the kids were in class, someone stole all their money again. However, it wasn't just the gang who had their money stolen. Other kids also had their money stolen. Everyone had to have a free school lunch. The tuck shop had to stay closed because they had been broken into. All of the money in the stock was gone. Mrs. Tinker decided to hold a special assembly. Once the whole school were in the hall and settled, Mrs. Tinker said, "As you all know, there is a thief who is going around stealing from everybody." Excuse me. "I want you all to know that I am dealing with this matter. I haven't yet called the police, but rest assured if this continues I will. However, in the meantime, if anyone knows who is doing this or thinks they know, please don't be afraid to come forward." Everyone went back to their classes, but no one came forward with any information. The thieving continued, leaving Mrs. Tinker with no choice but to call the police. The police asked her to keep a record of all the thefts. The next day, some more kids had their money stolen and Mrs. Tinker wrote down their names and how much was stolen. Then a dinner lady went to see her and she told her that all the money had gone out of the till and a lot of food had been taken too, and there wasn't enough left to go round everybody. Mrs. Tinker had to give her some money to buy supplies. Excuse me. That day lunchtime lasted for 2 hours instead of 1. Thankfully everyone managed to have something to eat. When the police came back, Mrs. Tinker gave them the list of all the thefts. They told her that they were doing their best to find out who the thief was. For a couple of days there was no thefts and everyone thought it was over with. However, they soon realised that they were wrong because whilst everyone was in the assembly hall with Mrs. Tinker, the thief struck again. This time they broke into Mrs. Tinker's office and stole all the money that was in there and her purse. She phoned the police again and they took the details of everything that had been taken. That day some more kids had their money stolen, leaving them in tears. Over the weekend, Mrs. Tinker's office and the school's canteen were broken into, and the thief had taken all the money that was in there. When Mrs. Tinker discovered what had happened, she phoned the police again. This time there was foot and fingerprints everywhere, so the police called in the forensics. However, later that day, Stampy left the classroom to go to the toilet. As he was coming back, he saw a kid he'd never seen before going through people's bags. He quickly ran up and said, "So you're the one who's been stealing from everyone?" The kid punched Stampy in the face, busting his nose. When he got back to the classroom, Mrs. Applejack said, "Oh my word, Stampy, sweetheart, what on earth has happened to you?" "I was on my way back to class, miss, when I saw a boy about my age going through people's bags. I went up to him and said, 'So it's you who's been stealing from everyone,' and he punched me in the face and ran off." Just at that moment, Mrs. Tinker was coming past the classroom, and she heard what Stampy said. She sent him to the school nurse to be checked over, but he was fine. Mrs. Tinker gave him permission to go home and change his shirt. When he got back, the police were there and they asked to speak to him. He told them what had happened and gave them a description of the boy, and then they sent him back to class. The following day at playtime it started to rain, so Stampy went inside to get his coat. As he did so, the thief was there again. Stampy said to him, "It's you again." Before he could say anything else, the boy ran off. He went to Mrs. Tinker's office and told her that the boy was in the school again and that he'd seen him steal from someone's bag. Mrs. Tinker asked Stampy if he minded staying in her office until the police arrived, and he said no, he didn't mind. When they arrived, he told them exactly what he told Mrs. Tinker, and then he went back outside. The following day, Kicker was the first to finish her lunch. As she made her way outside into the playground, she saw a boy who looked like the boy that Stampy had described going through people's bags. She quickly ran to get Mrs. Tinker, but by the time they got back to where Kicker had seen the boy, he'd gone. The next day the theft continued, but no one was able to catch the boy. However, that day one of the teachers was on her way to the staff room when she saw the thief, but he ran off before she could grab him. However, unfortunately for the boy, one of the other teachers managed to block the boy's exit, so he couldn't get away. He grabbed him, but he managed to get away and make a run for it. Later that day, another teacher saw the boy and grabbed him. This time he couldn't get away because the kids were coming in from playtime. He was taken to Mrs. Tinker's office and she called the police. The boy was really scared, and when they got there he was arrested. It turned out that he was a runaway. He'd not run away from his parents, he'd run away from his foster home, and he was sleeping rough. It turned out that his foster parents were really strict and he was really unhappy living with them. The police charged him, but in court he was put on a good behaviour bond and sent to new foster parents. He settled down with them and he even started at the same school the gang were in. The end. Thanks for watching, guys. Love yous. Bye.